It's a model I have had in my collection for many years, and now we're finally taking a closer look at what is a little piece of Austrian aviation history. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Embraer ERJ-190 of NIKI. At the front of the box we have the cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and at the bottom of the box we have the NIKI branding. Then on the back side of the box we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life. We can see it's a limited edition with only 1,200 pieces ever made. We have the original dimensions of the aircraft and some additional information. So that's it for the box. Let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. And here she is, the Embraer ERJ-190 of NIKI in the second livery of the airline. Now with the name you might already have guessed who was behind this airline, and that was of course Formula 1 legend Niki Lauda. However, this airline has no connection to another airline of Niki Lauda, which was known as Lauda Air. That airline was bought by Austrian Airlines and has no direct linkage to NIKI. But more about the history a bit later in the video, because first we will take a closer look at the aircraft model itself and start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer find the NIKI branding. On the fuselage we then have the full registration code of the aircraft, the Austrian flag, the aircraft type specification and the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft we then have again the NIKI branding, and then like a secondary logo or mascot, which of course, as you can see, is a massive fly. Overall, this part of the aircraft is not the most detailed. If we look here at the cockpit section, we have the cockpit windows and the window wipers printed on, and that's about it. The engine nacelles have then been given the same grey metallic look as most of the fuselage, but they do carry the flyniki.com web address, the former web address of the airline, and we have the nice silver leading edge. From the backside, I think that does also look rather decent, and of course if we look into the engines from the front, we can then also very nicely see the engine fan blades. Then moving on to the wings, we can take a look here at the top side. We don't have the markings for the emergency exit, even though we have the emergency exit printed on the fuselage, but we do have the different flaps, slats and spoilers carved out very nicely, and also some different shades of grey for additional detailing. The underside of the wings I think looks rather decent, where we also find the full registration code of the aircraft once again. And then the ERJ-190 of course also has some winglets, which I think Herpa has done a very decent job in replicating. And they've even managed to add the flyniki.com branding on the inner side. And then last but not least, we also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here on the back side of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Embraer ERJ-190 of NIKI. The airline itself was ultimately sold off by Niki Lauda to Air Berlin and merged into Air Berlin. When Air Berlin collapsed, parts of NIKI were kind of saved and were then created into what became a Lauda Motion, which was then again owned by Niki Lauda before he sold it off to Ryanair. But long before that happened, this aircraft left NIKI and became an aircraft in the Helvetic Airways fleet. But what should we say about this aircraft model? Overall, I think the quality is rather decent. The print quality is excellent. The physical details are also great. I could say that the landing gear is a little bit bigger than in more recent releases from Herpa Wings. However, it feels much more sturdy. It doesn't feel like it is breaking at any given moment, which is a feeling I get with more current releases from Herpa Wings. Ultimately, I think the livery does add something. It's a bit different than what we are used to with so many other airlines. And if you are interested in aviation history, especially from the beginning of the 2000s, then I think this is actually a rather decent aircraft model, and for that it would be worth having in one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then do feel free to leave a like. That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.